So first off, obviously Jared Ferguson taking over the summer conditioning package. What's that change been like from your perspective?
It's been incredible. The guys are definitely adapting. The work's been some serious work, but the guys are buying in. The guys are they're excited. They keep on going asking for more, and so that's kind of what we want as a team. The guys are bought in and they're working real hard. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for how it's going to go into camp and how we're going to go into the season for sure.
So obviously the work's been tough, but I hope you guys have been able to make some time for fun this summer. I don't know if you were able to come down here for Caleb Whitson's birthday or anything like that, but what are some other things that you've been able to sort of take in this offseason and get your mind off ball for a second?
Besides ball, we make I'm trying to learn how to golf, but it's a working process.
Where are you playing up there?
I go to the country club sometimes or river court.
Coach Fry lets you go?
Well, my roommate PJ Prelo, his dad's a member, so we can go play for them. So, but it's a great experience. Over the summer we like to let loose. So sometimes go to the lake, maybe find some other things to do besides the golf or the lake. But had a cookout a couple weekends ago with just the team. Had the team over, so it was fun. We had a good summer, but we also worked hard. We also bought in, and we also got a lot done this summer for sure.
Talk about that linebacker role, really kind of the vocal mouthpiece for a lot of the defense. And we were talking earlier, when you get in that weight room specifically, it sounds like a pretty loud, rowdy bunch when you're in there. So how do you carry that from the weight room to the field and just everything that you do, sort of just guiding the entire defense?
You kind of just you gotta have to live that lifestyle. Once you coming back here, whether because I wasn't a vocal leader in high school. I wasn't that vocal, that loud guy. But it's kind of something you have to learn how to do once you approach that. Once you take on that role of being a linebacker, especially the linebacker that's setting the front and setting the blitz on and stuff. People have to hear you, and people have to hear you whenever it's 70,000 people in the stand. So you can't really be quiet. You gotta have to learn. You got to adapt. You got to get better at just becoming more of a vocal leader and then leader, because I was always a leader by example at first. I'm definitely the coaches have definitely this offseason have definitely pushed me to become more of a vocal leader. More use my voice, and because people listen. Just be able to use your voice and not always lead by actions. You got to learn how to coach certain guys up. Not every guy might learn the same way. Some guys may respond to you yelling at them and getting in their face, and some guys may not. So it's kind of comes with knowing the team and knowing the guys that you're surrounded with, and just becoming better and more tight-knit every single day. So you learn how he learns best, how he takes corrections best, all that stuff for sure.
Heard that same notion a little bit from Kyron earlier too. I know Cephas did not the personality test, but the learning test. Does any of that come from that when he was sort of teaching that?
Sure. Whenever we first got here, learning test, just figure out if you like to listen, if you like to see it, if you like to do things with your hands to learn. Everyone learns differently. Not everyone learns the same. So just knowing how guys learn, how you teach guys, how they take corrections, it's crucial, because if you're trying to teach someone that learns by seeing it, by you're trying to just yell at them, we're not going to get much out of it. But some guys you might have to physically. I know for me, I have to do things with my hands, or I got to specifically go out there and do that. So for me, if I'm making corrections, I'll go out there on the field and get trash cans and use them as a line and see it. You got to see the physical picture of it before you go and hear about it. So learning how everyone's different, it's just the same thing with teaching. How teachers work. All it is just trying to figure out the best way, the most efficient way to teach your player how to do a certain technique or correction or whatever the case may be.
So obviously all the phases are important, but this one specifically, with the brand new defense being implemented, how pivotal was this summer? Obviously it's not like camp, and it's not like spring ball, but to have the 8 hours allotted for Cephas to come out there and I guess spend time with you guys, how important was that to sort of get around him?
It's great, just having, like I said, a guy that knows so much about football and that can teach you so much out there. It's crucial, just having him out there. You can ask questions, you can do all sorts of adjustments, you can make corrections because it's the summer, so really it's just a bunch of lifting, a bunch of conditioning, a bunch of just trying to get your body right. You gotta get your body right, your mental right before the game. But there's also some small football aspects part of it that you can build off the spring, because obviously the spring was the first time learning the defense, and the summer was just kind of relearning it, learning from your corrections from the spring. I know I had a couple guys you have the backers over, just watching spring ball.
Yeah.
At my house, just watching the past spring practices, so what we can learn, what we did bad, what we need to improve on, stuff like that. So it's definitely get that good spring out under your belt, and then now we're just kind of fine tuning it. And then fall camp is just going to be the final tweak.
So you get the new transfer linebacker, Short, Santiago. And now it sounded like earlier you're getting those guys over, bringing them in to watch him in spring, sort of getting them up to date, even on the pass clips, and they weren't even there. How crazy is that process now?
Those guys that came in, they really just embraced what we're all about at linebacker. Really, they came in here and worked. They ask questions every day. Mike and Santiago are always asking questions, always trying to get that little bit of corrections. They try to get correction before they even mess up on stuff. Mm-hmm. So if a guy messes up before them, they're asking corrections on the sideline before they even go in. So those type of guys are like what you need for the program. They're always trying to get better. They're always pushing the room every single day, whether it's conditioning, whether it's lifting, whether it's football. They're always out there and they're always heard. For sure, that's really what we needed in the room. That's what our defense needs. Just to keep raising that intensity up. Like you're always gonna hear the linebackers in the weight room. You're always gonna know where we are in the field. That's how we operate. You should be able to hear the linebackers.
What about the young guy Noah Chambers? Like it can be intimidating, especially. You have a guy like yourself, Caleb Spencer, and then you bring in two transfer guys. It can sort of be intimidating when you have so much depth and experience ahead of you in that room. How has he sort of stepped up to that?
Yeah, he's doing good. I mean, he automatically has natural gifts and talents that I've noticed coming from high school.
Yeah.
He's extremely strong. Like, one of the strongest guys in the room already as a freshman. Him and Brett Clatterball are just one of some of the, I don't know what they used to live in high school, but he's extremely strong. He has a natural instinct. So he's asking a bunch of questions, like I said, about Mike and Santiago. We have a bunch of young guys that are just eager to learn about the defense, about the ins and outs of the defense, not even just like what they got in the defense, but like what I'm looking at, what Steve Wood's looking at, like what to expect on certain things. That can help them play that little edge faster. So like we got a bunch of hungry learners that are just trying to learn as much as they possibly can, and that's really all you can ask for from a freshman, because he's far ahead of where I was at when I was a freshman. And I know when I made the transition to linebacker, he's way ahead of where I was at whenever I was his age. So he's gonna be a great addition to the team for sure.
I'll get you out on this. I know you're gonna try and cut a whole new legacy and make a lot more memories starting on August 31st against South Carolina. But if you were to go into the film room, I asked Tyson Flowers this like a month ago or something.
Yeah.
And if you had to cut on one play, one cut up of like maybe your favorite play or most memorable play ever at Virginia Tech, what would that be?
Honestly, I feel like the whole Boston College game, just like the way our defense was playing, and the way that everyone was just flying around to the ball.
That big fourth down stop.
Oh yeah, that big fourth down stop. That Boston College game.
I thought that one might come to mind.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a fun game. And then probably my very first college tackle, the ODU sack fumble.
That's not a bad one to start on.
Yeah, good memory. Not a bad one to start on at all.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.